Have you ever wondered why walking away from someone who hurt you feels harder than staying with them? Why do we sometimes miss the very person who made us miserable? And here's something even stranger. Why does freedom sometimes feel more terrifying than the prison we just escaped from? Today, we're going to explore the uncomfortable truths about toxic relationships that most people are afraid to talk about. We'll uncover why leaving is just the beginning of your journey, not the end. And most importantly, you'll discover why healing from these relationships requires something far deeper than just physical distance. Picture this. You finally leave a relationship that was draining every ounce of your energy. You thought you'd feel relief, maybe even joy. But instead you feel lost, empty, like something's missing. This confuses you because logically you know leaving was the right choice. So why doesn't it feel right? This is one of the biggest secrets about toxic relationships that nobody prepares you for. The pain of leaving can sometimes feel worse than the pain of staying, at least in the beginning. Let me explain what's really happening in your brain and heart during this time. When you're in a toxic relationship, especially one involving manipulation or emotional abuse, your nervous system gets rewired. Think of it like living in a house where the fire alarm goes off randomly every single day. At first, you panic each time, but eventually, your body learns to stay on high alert constantly, just waiting for the next alarm. That constant state of stress becomes your new normal. It's exhausting, but it's familiar. Now imagine someone suddenly takes you out of that house. The alarms stop. You should feel peaceful, right? But your body doesn't know how to handle peace anymore. Your nervous system is still stuck in that state of high alert, searching for the danger it's been trained to expect. This is why freedom can feel so uncomfortable at first. It's not that you want to go back to the chaos. It's that your body hasn't learned how to exist in calm yet. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, a leading expert on trauma, spent decades studying how our bodies hold onto painful experiences. His research shows that trauma doesn't just live in our memories, it lives in our muscles, our breathing patterns, even our heartbeat. This is why simply knowing that someone was bad for you isn't enough to feel better. Your body needs time to unlearn all those stress responses it developed while trying to survive. Here's another truth that might surprise you. Missing someone doesn't always mean you miss them as a person. Often, what you're really missing is the dream you had about who they could become. You're grieving the relationship you hoped for, not the relationship you actually had. Think about it. When you look back at that toxic relationship, what do you remember? The good moments probably shine brighter in your memory than the bad ones. This isn't because the good moments were more frequent. It's because your brain was desperately holding on to those moments as proof that staying was worth it. Psychologists call this the trauma bond. It's like an invisible rope that keeps pulling you back, even when you know better. This bond forms through a cycle of pain and relief, hurt and kindness, that keeps you emotionally hooked. When someone treats you terribly but then shows you small moments of affection, your brain releases chemicals similar to what happens with addiction. You're not weak for experiencing this. You're human. Your brain is designed to seek connection and to hold on to hope, even when hope becomes dangerous. Now let's talk about something that makes healing even more complicated. The lies. Not just the lies the other person told you, but the lies you had to tell yourself to make sense of staying. Maybe you convinced yourself that they would change. Maybe you believed their problems were temporary, caused by stress or circumstances. Maybe you thought your love could fix them. These weren't foolish thoughts. They were survival strategies. They helped you cope with a painful reality by creating a more bearable story. But when you finally leave and start seeing the truth clearly, it can feel like your entire past was a fiction. You look at old photos and wonder, was I happy in that moment? Was any of it real? This confusion is a special kind of grief. You're not just mourning the end of the relationship. You're mourning the realization that the relationship you thought you had never really existed. The trip you took together was real. The dinner you shared happened. But the meaning you gave those moments, the love you believed was there, that part might have been one-sided. This is why healing takes longer than people expect. You're not just getting over a breakup. You're rebuilding your entire understanding of what happened to you. You're learning to trust your own perception again after someone spent months or years making you doubt it. That's exhausting work. It's also incredibly important work. Let me share something else that therapists see all the time but rarely discuss publicly. When you finally recognize toxic patterns in one relationship, you often start seeing them everywhere. Maybe you realize your childhood wasn't as normal as you thought. Maybe you notice similar behaviors in a friend or coworker. This can feel overwhelming, like you're discovering that your whole life has been touched by toxicity. But actually, this awareness is a gift. You're finally seeing clearly, and once you see clearly, you can make different choices. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, who specializes in narcissistic abuse recovery, emphasizes that understanding these patterns is like learning a new language. Once you know it, you can't unknow it. You'll start recognizing red flags earlier. You'll trust your gut feelings instead of explaining them away. You'll stop making excuses for behavior that feels wrong, because you'll finally believe that your feelings matter. But here's where it gets tricky. Knowledge alone doesn't heal you. Understanding that someone had narcissistic traits or was emotionally manipulative doesn't erase the pain they caused. This is where many people get stuck. They read articles, watch videos, learn all the psychological terms, but still feel just as hurt as before. Why? Because healing isn't just an intellectual process. It's an emotional and physical one too. Think of it this way. If you broke your leg, you wouldn't just read about broken legs and expect it to heal. You'd need time, maybe physical therapy, definitely rest. Emotional wounds work the same way. You need practices that help your nervous system calm down. You need people who can hold space for your pain without trying to fix it immediately. You need patience with yourself on the days when you feel like you're going backwards. One of the hardest parts of recovery is learning to sit with uncomfortable feelings without running from them. In the toxic relationship, you probably spent a lot of energy managing the other person's emotions, trying to keep peace, walking on eggshells. Now you have to learn to simply feel your own feelings: sadness, anger, confusion, relief. Sometimes all of these at once. These feelings won't destroy you, even though they might feel overwhelming. They're actually part of your healing process. Like your mind and body finally feeling safe enough to process everything that happened. Here's something that might bring you comfort. The fact that you're struggling to let go doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're a person capable of deep connection and commitment. Those are beautiful qualities. They just got directed towards someone who couldn't appreciate them or reciprocate them in healthy ways. But those qualities are still yours. They're strengths, not weaknesses. You just need to learn how to protect them better going forward. Let's talk about something really important now. Forgiveness. Many people think they need to forgive the person who hurt them in order to heal, but that's not entirely true. What you really need is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not seeing it sooner. Forgive yourself for the times you went back. Forgive yourself for hoping they would change. Forgive yourself for being human. Self-compassion is the foundation of recovery. Dr. Kristen Neff's research on self-compassion shows that treating ourselves with the same kindness we'd offer a good friend dramatically improves our ability to heal from difficult experiences. Instead of beating yourself up for staying too long, try talking to yourself like you'd talk to someone you love who went through the same thing. You'd probably say something like, "You were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. That's true for you too." Recovery also means accepting that some questions will never have satisfying answers. Why did they treat you that way? Why weren't you enough to make them want to change? These questions can keep you trapped in a cycle of rumination, replaying conversations and moments, trying to find meaning in chaos. But sometimes, the most healing thing you can do is accept that their behavior was about them, not about you. Not everyone has the capacity for healthy love. Not everyone wants to grow or change. And that has nothing to do with your worth. This brings us to one of the most powerful concepts in healing, which psychologists call radical acceptance. It means accepting reality exactly as it is, not as you wish it were. It means accepting that the relationship is over, accepting that it wasn't what you hoped it would be, accepting that you cannot change the past. This doesn't mean you like what happened or approve of how you were treated. It just means you stop fighting against reality, which only creates more suffering. When you practice radical acceptance, something interesting happens. You start feeling lighter, not immediately and not all at once, but gradually, the heaviness that's been weighing you down begins to lift. You stop spending energy wishing things were different. You stop exhausting yourself trying to make sense of senseless behavior. You start directing that energy toward building the life you actually want, rather than mourning the life you thought you'd have. Now I want to address something that many people worry about. If healing takes so long and hurts so much, will you ever feel normal again? Yes. Absolutely yes. But here's the thing. You won't go back to who you were before the toxic relationship. You'll become someone new, someone wiser, someone with better boundaries, someone who knows their worth isn't determined by whether someone else can see it. And honestly, that person is going to be stronger and more authentic than the person you were before. The timeline is different for everyone. Some people need 6 months, others need 2 years. Some people feel better after just a few weeks of no contact, while others struggle for much longer. There's no right way to heal. There's only your way. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even when progress feels impossibly slow. Even when you have setbacks, even when you miss them and hate yourself for missing them. One final truth I want you to understand. Healing doesn't mean you'll never think about them again. It means that when you do think about them, it won't hurt the same way. You'll reach a point where you can look back with clarity instead of longing, where you can acknowledge both the good moments and the bad ones without trying to rewrite history, where you can thank that chapter for teaching you what you needed to learn while being genuinely grateful that it's over. If you're watching this video and you're still in the early stages of leaving or healing from a toxic relationship, please be patient with yourself. What you're going through is real and valid. The confusion is normal. The grief makes sense. The exhaustion is expected. You're not being dramatic. You're not weak. You're recovering from something that fundamentally changed how you see yourself in the world. That takes time. Surround yourself with people who understand. Find a therapist if you can. Journal your thoughts. Move your body. Create art. Do whatever helps you feel connected to yourself again. And remember, every day that you choose yourself, every boundary you set, every time you resist the urge to go back, you're rewiring your brain for healthier love. You're teaching yourself that you deserve peace, respect, and genuine care. The relationship you have with yourself will outlast every other relationship in your life. Make it a good one. Make it one built on truth, compassion, and unwavering commitment to your own well-being. Because you deserve that. You always did. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Subscribe to our channel for more content about healing, growth, and understanding the deeper patterns that shape our relationships. And remember, healing isn't linear, but it is possible. You're already on your way.